This is Darla, and I'm broadcasting live from my home office here in San Diego, California. And tonight's training is going to be a deep dive into LinkedIn. This is the part 3 of the second part series that we're doing. Tom Signorello did Instagram, I did Facebook, and Janice is doing LinkedIn. And what we're training on is how to attract from the World Wide Web sea of people. There's 6 billion strangers out there on the internet that you don't know who they are. And connected to the internet are what Tom calls digital doors. I love that phrase. I've stole it from him. Digital doors, which are platforms. There's Instagram, there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's TikTok, there's Snapchat, there's Twitter, you name it. There's all these different plugins, digital doors, gateways, whatever you want to call it, that people come through to turn from stranger into relationship, friend, customer, business, marriage, life, fun, travel, opportunity, referrals, you name it, all of that down here. And so what we're training on is what each one of us that as trainers do to attract our networks. And so that's what tonight is about, but for LinkedIn. I don't know anything about LinkedIn other than everybody tells me I need to be on LinkedIn. So I'm excited to actually watch this tonight. And it's my honor and my privilege to introduce to you Janice Porter, all the way from Vancouver, BC. So Janice, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, I'm going to let you take it over, and I'm here to take notes and be your best student.
Thanks, Darla. Thank you so much. I thought that I would follow the theme that you and Tom did with your platforms and just sort of do a little bit of a review of how the different platforms differ in a generic way. And then I'm going to dig in and show you how, by sharing my screen, show you how I do some of this work on LinkedIn. So Tom has mentioned that, Facebook is kind of like I call it the backyard barbecue. And it's where, you can be really social. And I know those of you who do that well, and Darla, you're the queen of Facebook. You put everything out there in such a way that people can really relate to you. And it's something I can't do on Facebook. I'm not the Facebook queen. However, not everyone's comfortable on every platform. So there's that. Then there's the Instagram. He calls that the lifestyle marketing. And I understand that. And again, it's a more visual platform and it has a different flair to it. And then there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn is like, Tom calls it like a Chamber of Commerce meeting. I call it like, it's the wedding reception. It's the gala fundraiser. It's the dinner where you've gotten dressed up and you've got some Prosecco or a glass of wine or champagne, and you just feel a bit more formal, right? So we can do a lot and bring it into a relationship piece, but it's not as social, right? It is more about, let's get directly to the heart of business. And for me, and I know for you, the heart of business is relationships. So I want you to sort of just think about that in a sense of where the three differ. And what I'm going to do now is share my screen. So people are in different phases of LinkedIn. There are some of the people perhaps on this call who are just getting started. And there's others who have had a LinkedIn profile for quite a while, but they don't know what to do with it. And then there's those who take pride in the fact that they have, 14,000 connections on LinkedIn, but how is that helping them? What are they doing? So there's kind of all three levels. And I want to sort of address each of them. It's funny because I was talking to somebody today about what he was doing with his LinkedIn. And he's a business owner, deals with doing branding and marketing with businesses. And he hired somebody to do the LinkedIn connection requests for him, because there are companies out there that they use a third-party tool and they send out like 50 maybe connection requests a day for you. So that's 250 a week. Now, you'd think that you'd get some business by that coming down to, a certain percentage will go to the next phase, go to the next phase. And finally they'll talk to you and you'll close them hopefully on your business. He handed over something like $2,500 a month for 3 months, didn't get one deal. So I always listen to stories like that and I say, do I want to go to that big a scale, or do I want to actually connect with people? Do I want it to be a relationship? Because that's how people do business today. So that's the framework from which I come. And that's why it's important to know that, because I don't send out 50 requests a day or do that for anybody. Okay, so what we're going to look at though is when we do send out those requests and we reach out to talk to people, what do we need to notice about people's profiles to see if it's even worth following through? So I'm going to start by looking at my profile and show you that you always think first impression. So the first impression is this part right here. It's your banner. Does it say something about you, about your business? Is it not the default? My profile, I always want my clients to know that they want to personalize it and make it look professional. So that's the back, the banner, it's your photo, it's your name, believe it or not, just your name, and then your what's called your headline. And this is like gold property on LinkedIn, because anytime that you reach out to somebody, anytime you comment on the news feed, anytime you connect with somebody, anytime you're seen, not only is your name seen, but what you do is seen. So it's important that it says the things you want it to say. So this person reached out to connect with me. The very first thing I want to look at is my first impression. Well, he hasn't got a personalized banner. He's got a selfie for his headshot, it looks like to me. It doesn't look like a professional headshot. And I have no idea what this is, but basically he says consultant at, and I think this is the name of a company. And that to me is not a good use of that space. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I noticed that we have 47 mutual connections, and it shows me if I click on here who we're connected to who we're mutually connected to. That's often a good thing for a starting point in a conversation. So that's why I noticed that. The next thing that I notice is whether he even has an about section, and he does, but it's done more like a resume than something that tells me who he works with and so on. And then I'm going to look down here. Now this is really interesting because he is obviously active, because if he isn't, there's no such thing on his profile as an activity section. LinkedIn puts that there every time you post or comment or add something to LinkedIn. And he has over 5,000 followers, which is really interesting because looking at first impression, I wouldn't have thought so. Okay, so you never know. And then, so the last thing that I look at is whether he has any people that have recommended him, and he doesn't. He's given to, but he hasn't received any. And those were, well, one was 2 years ago and one was 8 years ago. Okay, so again, how current is his social proof?
I do have a question, actually.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can people make fake accounts like they do in Facebook?
Yes, they can.
Okay. I've never looked at a LinkedIn account in my life. So looking at this, the things that I see from the outsider's view is this is a fake account.
I don't know if that one is, but I'll show you this one that just came in today. So this guy is a plumbing and heating person out of Edmonton, Alberta. And he's saying he has 24,000 connections and he doesn't even have a proper headshot. That to me looks like a phony account. You have to be careful, and you have to be, aware of those kinds of things. So what happens when, okay, so this person came in, those people came in to ask me to connect. And so where that happens is under my network. And so the invitations are there. Now there's the two that I just talked about. Okay. I can choose to ignore it and they won't even know the difference. but I would never ever accept it from here. I always accept from the person's profile because I've gone there to have a look at it. So I'm going to show you a couple more. And so these are invitations that have come into me. And I'm not always that fast on them because I like to sit on them for a bit and really take my time to look at them. And so first impression is, did they include a note? Well, this guy did, but these people didn't. So this one says, hello, Janice, I'm looking to connect with fellow LinkedIn professionals and found your profile to be interesting. I would love to be in your circle of influence. So he took the time to personalize a note. So I would go and look at his profile. I'm just going to stay here for a minute because I want to show you something else. So as I look down here, I see people that are connected that I know, but I also know that since I've been doing online networking through a virtual networking group that I joined, this group is worldwide. And so I'm starting to see people come in from different parts of the world that I didn't see before. So I'm trying to be open-minded. I also have to be fair about, would I even work with somebody over there or in here or whatever, right? They have to speak English. That's the first thing. And that's fine. There should be a fellow on this call that I was introduced to by Jordan, and he's in Spain. He's Norwegian, but he lives in Spain. And we've been having some conversations, and that's kind of fun. I love to work with people that, you know, get what we're about, right? This person I think is pretty new, and she doesn't have a photo. She might be one of your people, I don't know, but she's connected with Tom, and that's what made me want to have a look.
Yeah, she's probably just started setting them up so she could do the training tonight. Yeah.
Oh, that could be. That's right.
Yeah.
And so I love to help people like that.
Yeah.
So, yes, there you go. Brand new. Good
She
for
just
her.
started.
I congratulate her. So she knows she has to put a headshot. If nothing else, Lucy, if you're on the call, don't put a selfie. Get somebody else to take a picture of you and put it up there, head and shoulders, until you can get a professional headshot. Okay, but that's a good thing to keep in mind, because she's going to be one of my people that I'm speaking to that are brand new, and she will have to create a full-blown profile before I recommend she reaches out to people. Okay. Okay, so I commend her in doing that, and that's awesome. So I just, as a professional trainer, I want to show you, like, that's not a good headshot. That's not a good headshot because he's not looking at the camera. Too much busyness. I've seen people that have their grandchildren on their knee. Okay, that's a Facebook thing. That's not a LinkedIn thing. Okay, and same here. Two people in the picture. No. Oh, this is a good one for people too. Here's I don't know who this person is, but he said, Janice, your profile came up as someone I should connect with. So LinkedIn suggests people, right, that you might want to connect with. After looking at this, great line though, after looking at it, I agree. It would be great to connect. Looking forward to it, Mark. So again, sometimes it's the wrong reasons, sometimes it's the right reasons. You have to be careful. Okay, so that's what I do when I look at who do I want to connect with. So what I'm going to do, where's Lucy? I got to go back to Lucy. Okay, I'm not going to accept it here, but I'm going to go to Lucy's. And because I know she's one of your people and she's just getting started, I'm going to accept it. And that's never enough. Okay, so once it gets accepted, I usually do a refresh. And then it shows that we're now connected. She now has 2 connections, and I can now message her. And I recommend that when you do connect with somebody that has asked you to connect, that you send them what I call the thank you message. Okay, so thank you so much for reaching out to connect. Lucy, always use their name if you can type. I see you are new to LinkedIn. Please let me know if I can support you in any way. Now, you don't have to sign it because it comes from you, but sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So I've sent her that message. All right. And that's my first connection with Lucy. Okay. I don't know her. Because she didn't send a message with an introduction, I'm just going with what I see. All right. So now she actually gives me one more teaching moment here that I will share, and that is right here. So I told you that was prime real estate. So by saying this, she's wasting that valuable space, because when she's down, when she finishes her profile, when she fills in this part, this is where she talks about her company. Up here, what she wants to do is give 2 or 3 keywords that explain what she does, and maybe use a positioning or a benefit statement that says how she helps people. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind, because you only have 120 characters. All right, so that was somebody reaching in to connect with me.
I do have one question. So when you accept, then you're connected, right?
Correct. Okay, good point. So then that's actually a good place to say this before we move forward. That's correct. You are what's called first level connection. Okay, you're directly connected. So if you are on a free LinkedIn platform, and you know when people are on more than that, when you see this little gold thing here. Okay, so at the moment, Eric and I are not connected. I've reached out to connect with him. He hasn't answered yet, but I spoke with him today, and he is on a paid platform. Okay, and we could talk about that later if you want, but the point is that his wife and I are first level connected. So he's my second level because his wife is my first level, and he's connected to her and she's connected to me. You with me?
I get that talk very well.
Okay, so now first level, second level, third level. And I say that because if you're on a free platform, and really that's all you need to be on when you get started, there's lots of people out there. You don't have to worry about paying extra money. But what happens is, if you do a search looking for realtors in Toronto, let's say, you're only going to be the only people included in that search will be people on your first level, second level, and third level.
I get it. So that, like how Facebook limits at 5,000, I wish they would allow us to buy more than 5,000 friends. I would pay.
Right. 3
levels here. If you buy, you get to go.
Well, you get to have visibility, yes, of everybody. You get lifetime 30,000 first level connections, but then you can have people follow you after that. Okay. And then, but it's that first level, second level, third level, you're restricted. But when you say restricted, I'm going to show you when you do an outreach, because that's what I'm going to show you next. If I'm going to outreach to build new connections. I know people who have 14,000, 15,000, 20, but really, do you know them?
They don't know them. Like where our connections are genuine. We know them.
Exactly. So why was I going to say that? Okay. Because I have 3,300 first level connections, and some of those first level connections have 10,000 connections, 2,000 connections, 15. My circle, my concentric circles got way bigger.
I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
Okay. So now
you're 1 degree of separation away from 1 million people.
Exactly. Yeah. So now I'm just going to go into the search bar. Again, I only have a free platform. So I'm going to search for, realtors, because that's what I work with a lot, right? So I'm going to say realtor, not realtors, realtor, because I want them to have that in their profile. And I'm going to start there. Okay. Just basic realtor. And I'm going to go search. Are you ready? In my first 3 levels, 1,109,000 results.
Yeah.
Way too many to deal with. Okay. So now I can bring it down and bring that search down to only second level. If they're first level, I'm already connected to them. So I'm going to say second level. Now it's 33,000. Now what I want to do is I only want to talk to realtors in, let's say, Los Angeles, because sometimes I've done that when I've gone down to visit my sister. Okay. So greater Los Angeles. Okay. 2,100. Still too many to work with right away, but just so you get the idea. Now, when I get a search and I'm shrunk it to a usable number of people. I can save it. I can only save 3 at a time, but I can save it so that I can go back and start looking at them one by one to see if I actually want to connect with them. Does that make sense?
Totally. I love it.
Okay, so let's take, I probably wouldn't do this one because although I know a couple of people that she's connected to, either she has her privacy set too high and I can't see her picture, or she doesn't have a picture, one or the other. So, okay, I'm going to pick the first one. So I'm going to go to this person. What's the first thing I notice? It doesn't have a banner. Okay. Secondly, it's okay. It's not bad, his photo. He's only got 56 connections. So that tells me he's either not using it or he's new to LinkedIn, right? And he has pretty much nothing on here. So he may not even see it if I decide to connect with him. So I'm going to go back to my search and I'm going to try somebody different. So you see what I'm doing here, right? So I go by my gut. I don't know. So I'm going to pick Shannon Jones. I have no idea who she is. Oh, look at the difference.
That looks much better.
Right? It's much more inviting. Secondly, she's got over 500 connections. So I know she uses it. And the other thing that will show me that she uses LinkedIn is it right here, activity, right? And she has over 4,000 followers. The last piece I look at again, does she have any current? No, she doesn't, because she doesn't see the importance in that. I would always teach people to have current recommendations because it's social proof. Okay, so what I'm doing though is I'm deciding, do I want to connect with her or not, right? And if I decide to, and I see nothing wrong with it because where is she? Oh, she's in Long Beach. Okay, so if I go connect, this is new, by the way. It usually gives me the chance to add the note before it says that the invitation is on the way. I don't know if it actually went without the note or not, because this is brand new. It's kind of weird, but I always add a note. All right. And when I add the note, I'm going to say, Shannon, I came across your profile, love it, you know, something to flatter her, and would be honored to connect with you. Hope you agree. And I'll even put Janice Porter here, okay? And see if she responds. And so I'll just go done and it's done. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like, that's the outreach now. I'm looking, is this person working with LinkedIn? Because if they're not, they're never going to see my message, all right? And so what I try to teach people when they're doing their outreach and their inbound is to always pay attention to this top doc or...
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So there's no wall or anything.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
Oh.
So your home page is your wall. It's your news feed.
Got it.
Okay. So if I go back to my profile and I go down to my activity here, and I go see all, as you can do with other people's, you can see what the last thing was that they posted, or notice you can see under my name, there's all my stuff from my headline.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's where you engage with people on the wall. On it goes. So you've got your homepage, you've got your connections, you don't need this unless you're looking for a job. You've got your messaging, and you've got what's called notifications, just like on Facebook. Okay. Yeah. And so those are things that sometimes you put there, and sometimes other people post, or LinkedIn will say something like, it's so-and-so's birthday, or it's so-and-so's, so wish so-and-so a happy birthday, or, you know, these are people you're first level connected to. Now, as I know you do something special for birthdays on Facebook, I never go right here and do it. I usually go to their profile, but I don't know these people that well, so I'm not going to choose them. Let's see if I can find another one. Okay, Wendy. Okay. Wendy, we know Wendy. Okay, so I'm going to show. So yesterday apparently was her birthday. So I'm going to go to Wendy's profile. I worked with Wendy, just so you know. That looks pretty professional, I think.
Yep.
Now, when I go here, it says give kudos. So I can go and say, something like, birthday was amazing. And I'll just leave it at that for now. And I post it. So now what happens is that gets posted on her newsfeed, which is kind of nice. It's just something out of the blue. Now, I don't recommend anybody does those like 5 a day or anything, because then they're not special. They need to be special. Okay. So those are things that you can do, because truth be known, LinkedIn's trying to be like Facebook a little bit, believe it or not. That's why they've just added some of these things. So well, I just wanted to check my notes. Okay, now there's one more thing that people forget. And this is very typical when we, those of us who use send out cards as our follow-up tool as well. When we're training or working with people, I know for me, one of the things that I found is people in sales in particular, they're so busy trying to get new clients that they forget about the past ones, okay? So I want to tell you, don't forget about your connections that you already have, okay? So when you go to your connections, you can search by name, you can put them in alphabetical order, and you can start to look at who haven't I talked to for a while, who needs to hear from me, send them a message, send them a card, whatever, right? So I just want you to know that that's another whole group of people, whether it's 10 or 3,000, that you have access to and connection to. So that's how I build relationships. Now, one other thing I just want to share with you, and that is this happened today. Okay, so this person named Janet reached out to me, and she's pretty, I'm not sure what she does when I looked at her profile, but we have over 30 connections together. And she kind of said what she did, but I'm not really sure. I don't know what she does. Anyway, I'm looking through, and she's got one current recommendation. She's obviously active, and she has over 1,300 followers. So I said, okay, I accept it. Okay. So here's what I said to her. I said, hi, Janet, this is thank you message. Thanks for reaching out to connect. It looks like we have a few people in common. It also looks like you're branching out into a new business. What exactly is it? It looks like a bit of a pivot from the dental industry. I wish you well. Are you looking to network? She answered me today as well, like half an hour later. Thank you for connecting. I noticed that you're in the relationship marketing space, a space that I have occupied in all of my roles, because that's what it's about. The business is about that very thing, honoring those relationships in creative ways. So not so much of a pivot, but more of a, hey, that's what I do best, so let's do it. Thanks for your well wishes. And yes, always looking to increase my network. So I think that means I can respond, right? And find out, maybe she's with another company, maybe she's with Send Out Cards, I don't know. But I just thought it was interesting. So now we have a common bond, we can keep the conversation going.
Yes.
And one last
thing. Know what else I notice about LinkedIn is you can be more direct. Are you looking to network? Yeah. You can be direct with that. Where on Facebook, if you came out and said that, you'd appear to be like
pushy. Yeah. Salesman.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe I'd send her another message. Maybe I'd even, in some cases, I ask people for their address and I want to send them something based on a conversation. The goal, though, is to get it offline, get it to a virtual coffee, get it to a Zoom call or a phone call, right? Same as everything else. The goal is the same, just a different little strategies and different protocols around what to do. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is something brand new that I can't even show it to you. It's a brand new thing that happened yesterday. I got an email from LinkedIn that said they have a new piece that they're rolling out. So not everybody will get it at the same time. However, it's only going to be on mobile. Actually, there's two things I can share with you there. Okay, so this one is there's going to be a little like a what do you call that thing? A megaphone. Beside your name on your profile, and it's only on mobile, but it's going to be right here somewhere beside my name. And it's a thing that's going to allow me to record my name so people will know how to pronounce it, which I think is brilliant, especially now when we're global, right? And we mess up with people's names. So that's a new fun thing. Watch for that if you're on LinkedIn and you see that show up on your phone. And so the last thing I'm going to leave you with is another thing that you can only do on your mobile, and that is video message. It's so cool, right? So let's say you take those connections that you've had for a while and you decide you're going to take 2 or 3 of those a day and just reconnect with them. Do it with a video message. Yeah, it always is on your home page. It's only on your phone, and I have an iPhone. So in the top right-hand corner is the little symbol for messaging, which is the same symbol as this right here. To the left of the message box is a plus sign, and you click on that plus sign, and all of these different things, these options come up that don't come up on your desktop. And one of them is video, and you can do an actual video message on your phone and send it to someone through LinkedIn, and it comes up in their messages. But I have done it, and I've had them delivered to me, and it kind of takes people, a little bit back, and it's fun. So it could be a birthday message as well, right?
That's right.
That if anyone's interested in and serious about making LinkedIn work for them, the very first thing they're going to want to do is up level their profile. And I have a free download on my website that's a checklist for your 16-point checklist for LinkedIn, which you're welcome to go and get. There's my website. I do one-to-one training, and I also do webinar group training. And I do have a 2-part series coming up. That's the Eventbrite details. Everything is there. And for those people who signed up for any of our 3 webinars, there's a promo code that they can use for a discount on the 2-part series. So I just wanted to make sure that people got that opportunity, maybe took a screenshot or something in case or if they have any questions for me privately, I'm happy to answer any of them.
All right, awesome. For those of you that want to come back and watch the 3rd series, this is going to be on Saturday, July 11th at 10 a.m. Tom and Janice, Pacific time. Yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific time, are going to come back together. And then we're going to train on, once we've brought them through our portal, through our digital door, our method of social media, Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. What do we do now to keep the relationships in our life? I love to use this cup as an analogy. The World Wide Web, the internet is up here, 6 billion strangers. We attract them into our cup. Okay, so you're either attracting them through Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, and your goal is to fill the cup up. Once you fill the cup up, you then don't ever have to worry about where people come from, because these people are telling all their friends about you. They're returning for more business. The relationships are so thick. But what happens with most people is they have a hole in the bottom of their cup, and people are falling out the bottom, trickling out the bottom, and they find themselves constantly in the hunting mode, hunting, prospecting, attracting, putting in more people, 10 years. If you're a successful business person and you've been in business for a decade and you're booked solid and constantly adding new business, why is that? Where did those people go? They've fallen out the bottom. We're going to teach people how to plug the hole so that your network turns into your net wealth by going and telling everybody else about you and growing. And it's all about the relationships and the way you treat the people. Because it's not just about the one business, it's about the lifetime relationship and everything that comes with it. So Janice, you did an awesome job. Did you want to say something?
I just wanted to say, do they have to register for Saturday? Somebody asked, I just noticed.
I'm going to put the registration link
perfect.
to promote it. Yep. And I have an appointment tomorrow to learn how to send the email link to everybody that has registered. So I'm really turning into a big girl now with Zoom.
You'll have to teach me, because Zoom is another whole story in that regard.
Yeah, that's really what it's about. It's learning these new platforms and teaching each other how to use it so we can all succeed and grow together, because we're more powerful linked together as well.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Yes, it was. You did a great job, and thank you very much. And if you have any questions on LinkedIn, go ahead and pop them down below, or message Janice directly and she'll get right
Absolutely.
back with you. And then we will see you all on Saturday. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.